Yeah.
Green line, give it all you got.
Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the GRG eSports GT3 Legacy Championship from Catalonia.
Currently have a very hot track at 36C. It is currently have a very hot track at 36C. Everyone's starting their qualifying laps here. Got the Jaguar out first, followed by the Audi cameras come back here. Gosh, I'm tired.
Yeah, there was an echo. I fixed it. I realized that I still had Twitch unmuted, which is why I muted my mic.
Yeah, I had that as well. So I was like,
It should be resolved now. Because yeah, I forgot to mute the Twitch site.
Yeah.
Jump to a car that's driving.
We got a lap time. Nothing lap times. I'm an idiot. Okay. Everyone is now out of the pit lane. So, trying to find a car. Not on a lap, I guess. Oh, track is now optimal. Just look that up.
Woodrow going out early. First car to hit the timing line.
I think Novak was actually. Oh, where's my thing? There's my There's my... This looks like someone spun it there. Turn 2 at sector 1. Not sure what that was about. Wait. I forget how long the lap is around here. Almost half the qualifying session just getting out, doing a single lap.
2.893 miles and 4.655 kilometers. That is the full Grand Prix circuit, not doing the Moto circuit, which actually just a little different profile of the hairpin, the back hairpin.
Novak crossed the line first there with a 48.2. Let's see what Ryan can do here. Oh, 44.8. By Mr. Woodrow.
3/10 faster than his practice time. 45.1.
Looks like he'll be untouchable today.
Still got to put it together.
Yeah.
50 minutes. The last series we did, he spun at Zandvoort on the first lap, so.
That is true. Did not get hit in that one. Oh, Salmon crossed the line. Just exactly under a second. 9/10 and 999 seconds. All the time.
I think Mike's going to be a little disappointed with that 146.4. 1.6 back from Woodrow.
He has the second fastest sector 3 time there. Definitely gaining a lot of time there on everyone. Paulo's starting a lap. Yep. Let's see what Jake can do as he crosses the line. 48.5. Novak crossed the line with the 48.2 or 47.2.
So he's 9/10. Jake's 9/10 back from his teammate John in the Ruger-sponsored Bentley team.
Very nice livery on those cars. I like the little digital camo they got going on. Is instant turn 1 again, turn 2. All mistakes there. Gavin goes P2 there.
There he is.
I'm gonna work all the way around.
Solomon goes purple in sector 1.
Ooh. There's Solomon. Where's my... Oh.
So he did a 144.8. So 0.030 behind Woodrow in the Lamborghini.
Could have a challenger for the lead here.
That might be the closest we've ever had in qualifying between two cars.
No, we had one that went down to the 1,000th slot. I think it was a couple rounds ago. We had one that came down to the 1,000th slot. But yeah, no, definitely one of the closest qualifyings we've had here, and with just 2.5 minutes remaining. I mean, basically each car's got about 1 lap, maybe 2 remaining on their board. So
Woody's in the pits.
all right, so Woody's not trying to contest that lap anymore. Solomon, of course, still on the racetrack. He's obviously still pushing on this lap. The question is, does he have one more if he doesn't hit it here?
Can't quite recall what it was at the GT4 Championship, the goodness sake, Saturday. But the battle for the lead, qualifying 2 for race 2, was fairly close. Can't recall what it was. Yeah.
Gavin goes purple in sector 2. 0.240 behind now. He's going to have another lap. Solomon should have another lap here.
Solomon validated that last lap, so he's not going to get time there.
So it's pretty tight at the front. Dino still hasn't posted a time yet.
Yeah, I think they ran into issues on their first 2 laps qualifying. At least their first 2 attempts there. Hopefully out. Still a lap. Massive rear wing of that Nissan.
Solomon aborts his lap.
Oh. That's going to be his qualifying over. See if Mr. Gavin Moore can do anything in response. Looks like one of the Bentleys is off there to turn 13. The Dino makes the run down the line. They go P10, 49.3.
It's going to be for Gavin.
And he aborts his qualifying as well. Mike will not get another lap either, it looks like. ACC
No,
said
no, that's some confidence there. Woodrow parks the car with about 3 minutes left in the session and says, I'm on pole. That's some confidence in your car and your time there.
Quick, that's for sure. There we go. Everything's set up right this time. Now we've actually got a mandatory pit stop. Tires.
2 minutes and 30 till we get the formation lap going. So with it being this hot, should be interesting tire degradation. Barcelona Catalunya circuit has always been a really abrasive circuit, very high loads. It is a quick circuit. Most teams, when they do race here, want to do a medium downforce setup, but you can't ignore the big long straights that we have, and the back section isn't too bad. There are some low speed corners, but really the Campsa corner is where you want to carry the most speed down to the La Silla hairpin. So guys usually do a lift off there to try and carry as much speed as they can, but again, that's the load on the left front tire, which takes the biggest amount of punishment here.
Yeah, Sector 3, it's really more so mechanical grip besides turn 16, which is the final turn. I believe that's turn 12. That sweeping right-hander there. Yep, turn 12. Just after the hairpin.
It is great. This circuit does have many corners named after pretty much all companies. Elfrida, Repsol, Seat, Worth, Campsa, La Silla, Bank Sabadell. The chicane is named after the Royal Auto Club of Catalonia. Europe Car, and the last corner is New Holland. Jake, I'm sure Jake knows all about New Holland equipment.
Yeah. Well, getting ready to start the session here. Actually, hopefully watch the cars actually roll off pit road. Pit road? No. Start finish line. I'm stupid. Boy. Oh, stop doing this. Thank you. As everyone's rolling off their formation lap here, we will do a grid rundown probably after Sector 1. Because, yeah. I haven't checked that actually. Probably should. Let's say no. Why? I was looking to see if the giant pit board worked. The pit board timing tower there. Sadly, it does not. Very disappointed. If I can move that. Okay. So, do a little grid rundown here. We have starting on pole position. We have Ryan Woodrow in the 412 Audi. Lining up next to him, Salman Saad in the 198 Lamborghini. Leading off our second row, we have Gavin Moore in the 624 Lamborghini. Fourth place, we have Mike Trewicki in the 999 Porsche. Fifth place, we have Keith Hurst in the first of the two V12 Astons in the number 24. Sixth place, if I could get to them, is John Wick-Zoric in the 96 Bentley. Seventh place, we have Elizabeth Novak in the 763 Jag. Eighth place, we got Jake Fauscher in the other Bentley in the 98. Ninth place, we have the 97 of Ramiro Perez. And rounding off the grid, we have the number 94 of Paulo Ledino and the Nissan. I think right about, I think just before the chicane, they start lining up side by side to prep for the race. Yep. Kind of see them here slowly working their way there. Someone disappearing. Where's someone? There he is.
See if Mr. Soud can get a good result in the race, concerning he's all the way down in 9th place in the standings. So maybe he can move up a little bit here.
Yeah, his issues at Paul Ricard with the rear end just coming around have not helped him at all. Now wait till the run down to the line. I think it's green light right up here. Yep, and we go green now. Hard to tell who has to jump off the line. Ooh, the Audi and Lamborghini are side by side as we head down to turn 1. Is Gavin Moore looking to make it 3 wide in turn 1? Oh, it's both Gavin and Salman. Oh, Salman gets pushed out wide there. So Gavin actually takes the lead and Salman falls down to 4th place there. So far, everything staying fair.
Yeah, relatively clean start there from everyone. Of course, there was the 3 wide, and it's the turn 1 at Catalunya, so you can always have a little bit of contact down there, but very clean start, and good job by Gavin Moore to put himself up in the first. Woodrow falling down to 2nd here. Down the field, you got the Nissans and the Jaguars racing with each other. A little bit of contact there between the Aston Martin and the Bentley. That was Ramiro Perez, I do believe. And
big issue there. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. We'll look at that post race. Lap 1, turn 5. Looks like, yeah, Keith Hurst either got pushed off wide with the Nissan. Not quite sure what happened there between the two. Down midfield, the Jag taking a really wide line there, misses the corner, and they're taking the respective re-entry zone there. Fall all the way down to 9th place. So far at the end of lap 1, it looks like we have Gavin Moore, our leader, followed by Ryan, Mike, and then Salman.
Woodrow's going to try and tuck in here.
All that exit curve, entry curve, I guess. There at turn 1.
Solomon all over Mike Trewicki trying to get his position back. There has been a gap that's increased between P2 and P3.
Very big gap has already fallen off there between the two. I think Salman definitely wants to get by Mike as fast as he can.
Mike cannot afford to lose any more places to try and keep his 2nd place in the championship, especially if Gavin wins this race.
Oh, as Mike goes wide and takes out the styrofoam board there. It looks like Salman actually gets by him now, so Mike falls down to P4. Nissan over the back of that Bentley going into the hairpin there in the back.
At 94, started the rear of the field, is already trying to work up all the way up to 7th here.
Salman trying to break the toe. Mike sticking right on the back of him, see if he can make him move into 1. Mike thinks better of it, tugs back in behind.
front, still half a second between Woodrow and Moore. You want to continue to watch the other one? Ethan, I'll watch this up front.
Okay.
And then back in
Yep.
6th place, we got a battle for that position with Jake Fauscher only 6/10 behind Ramiro Perez.
Wally, Aston Martin there trying to defend everything he can.
Timing seemed to be a little bit broken, saying Ramirez in 7th place, even though he's very clearly in 6th place. As there now, it updates. Not sure what that was about.
Yeah, normally it's the one that's in the bottom right that's actually more correct whenever it comes to the broadcast HUD. Typically the one that shows the team name is the one that updates live. So that is a little work that happened there.
Yeah. Oh, is Ladino? Oh, not quite sure what happened there. I think the Jag tried sending up the inside there, going into turn 13. Either got squeezed or made contact with the Nissan.
Perez is weaving down the straight, trying to block the toe from Jake.
That's up to lap 3 there.
Coleman back up to P3 here. Around turn 3, gonna try to now. He's got to run down that. What is it? It's almost a 5-second gap up to the lead there. 6-second gap even.
Yep.
So Woodrow and Moore are definitely pulling out a good gap up front here.
Yeah, we got to move to that battle for first place because it's down to 3/10 now.
Yeah, they're really closing in on
Yep.
each other.
Back at the back, you still do have the Perez-Foucher battle at the moment, though. Keep an eye on that one.
Looks like the Bentley or the Aston Martin is kind of pulled away there. And that's what coming out of turn 6. He's really able to pull away. As Jake goes wide there. It's not going to help him at all. Catch up to Ramiro. It almost seems that everyone's pushing wide there to that corner. There you literally saw in the background Ladino do the same.
Like you were just calling out there, it looks like Keith Hurst and Ladino are having a pretty good battle here for tail end of the field. What is that, P8 on the racetrack?
Yep. P8.
Those cars were just side by side there through the hairpin.
Keith really closing that gap. He might make a move down the front straightaway. That Aston's known fairly well for having straight line speed.
Woodrow here, just staying right in the bumper of that Lamborghini. Of course, these cars they share a very similar chassis and engine layout, so cars aren't too far off from each other in terms of what they can do. So, a very well and evenly matched battle right here between these two.
Ladino messes up their braking zone there for turn 1, so it looks like Keith goes on by, but they're still battling in the back.
So the longer Ryan stays behind Gavin, the more he's going to have tire wear. So it'd be really interesting to see the difference on when these guys pit. If Ryan will pit earlier, if he is behind on the tire window, or not.
Looks like Jag having some issues there. That's Ladino back on by. Ladino had issues there. I guess that's turn 4. They got close to the rear end of Keith and then spun it, did like a half spin into the gravel.
I just noticed this with the JDRF Foundation, who we will be supporting for our 12 hours of Imola here in a couple weeks' time. Just followed us on Twitch. at the start of the stream. So thank you all for that follow and the support that y'all will be giving us on social media. And thanks for letting us do a race to support your cause. If anyone's still here, of course, watching it. But it's gonna be definitely gonna be a great event, and we're all looking forward to that on December 12th at 12 UTC.
12 hours of action at Imola. Very fun to watch. Maybe not for me as I'm the race steward, but...
So I was looking at this. It's going to be the 12-hour on the 12th starting at 12.
All the 12s. Maybe a goal of 12,000. Not 1,200. It's like...
We'll go for 120. 120.
Yeah.
That'll be our goal. 120.
We'll see what we get.
We'll set that as a goal. Further on down the field, you have Ramiro Perez and Jake Foucher here still fighting.
So one of two things could be happening here. As Gavin extends the gap to 1.2 seconds, either Ryan is trying to save his tires to the pit window, or his tires are already falling off.
With the new tire model, it could very well be either of them, because of course with the way the temperatures work now, it's very, very sensitive to the pressures and such. So he could possibly be going in that in the toe there of the Lamborghini. He could possibly be overheating his tires just because they're not getting enough cooling going down the straightaway. So they could also be over inflated as well, or anything of that sort, just very slightly off. And
temperatures weren't helping us.
Ooh, that's really wide for Ramiro Perez. Here comes Jake Foucher door to door. They are almost a little bit of a touching there, just waving the hand out to high five each other.
That would work because they're on opposite sides.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. Jake gets ahead after Ramiro makes a mistake, but a nice save on his part, to be fair.
Yeah, he managed to keep the car in one, and still only come out just a couple car lengths behind the Bentley. So he's still right there in that range of attack if he gets another chance to come back, or if Jake makes a little bit of a mistake, he can always get right back up in front for that 6th position.
Hope to see this battle continue after the pit stops, because great one to watch so far.
Up the field a little bit, you got Mike Trewicki and Salman Saad. They've kind of gotten a little bit of a gap between them, as well as, of course, a gap to the people behind them. So they're kind of just chilling in that mid-pack seat at the moment. So definitely just coast it out here to the pit window, and then maybe try to gain some time or ground off of having a smooth pit stop here for either of those two. Because of course up front it's a large gap. Those guys are on another level, and to the back it's roughly the same story.
Keith has a drive-through for track limits.
Wow,
that's early.
Yeah, that's a really early drive-through penalty there.
I wonder if he got it because of the hairpin. That hairpin's pretty bad about his Ladino is stopped on track at the hairpin. Not sure what happened there.
Oh, and that is a retirement from the Nissan.
Not quite sure what happened, as Keith in to serve his drive-through, obviously.
Here comes Ramiro Perez, possibly looking at a sin there. Not quite. There's a lot of toe from the rear end of that big old Bentley. The Aston Martin was getting right up to the bumper, but elected not to make any sort of lunge or send.
Yeah, but speaking of track limits, at least in ACC, what do you call it? That hairpin. If you go wide there and go over that sausage curb, it's gonna usually give you a speeding penalty, not speeding, track limits penalty, as well as I don't think swinging wide there.
Well, Dino had a looks like a car failure with the brakes. There's some rig.
Who as Ramiro misses the braking zone there? Speaking of brakes. Battle up front, pulls down once again. It's just a couple car lengths between those two. Yeah, unfortunate problems there for the Nissan with the brake failure. But definitely better to just pull over and get it off the racetrack than damage it any further.
And risk collecting other cars as well. Novak up to 8th place.
After the Keithhurst drive-through, yeah. Of course, Novak was involved in that incident with the Nissan at the chicane. So that kind of put them towards the rear, and at this point, it's just drive it to the end now. Just try to have fun and have a good drive.
Yeah.
In the Jaguar.
Not quite sure what happened in that turn 13 incident. If they snuck it up the inside or if the Nissan turned it in. But it's hard to tell. Of the glimpse I caught of it, at least.
So the gap to Mike to Sod has pretty much stabilized about 3.5 seconds. So it will be interesting to see what these two guys do during the pit window as well. One pits, will the other stay out, or will they both go in together?
Well, it's also going to be interesting to see who did what with the fuel as well, because as far as I know, Mike elects to do just a full car worth of fuel with no refueling at the pit window. I'm not quite sure what Salman does, but it is possible to basically half fuel your car and then half fuel it again at the midway point. There is no time penalty.
Up front, Woody has a run on Gavin.
Yep. Yeah, he's trying.
Gavin going for the defensive move, and then the late adjustment at the braking zone. That's actually going to really hurt his flow through the corner, though. Going to allow Woodrow to get a little bit closer through 3, maybe have a lunge at 4.
I think I would have stuck to the inside or the outside line there.
Ooh, and a little bit of a wash there from Gavin Moore. It's going to bring Woodrow right up to his door here for that braking zone.
Side by side going into 3.
Close racing there, maybe a little bit of a door check, but nothing too bad. And through goes Woodrow now into P1 as he remains in the defensive line. Down the hill they go. The Audi now in front. Lamborghini going to have to try to make a charge once again here prior to the pit stop. Like you said, perhaps Woodrow was going on that tire save strategy behind Moore and let Moore go and try to burn out his rubber to stay in front. And so right here for this final couple laps of this tire set, now Woodrow is going to try to put on the heat and try to go melt him off basically before the pit stop. Try to get a little bit of a gap between him and Moore.
Yeah, that had been the situation as he went to tire conservation mode. I have been watching Gavin going into Renault. He has kept that wide line the whole race. So that's where Ryan definitely got the advantage off Gavin there. But we'll see. With the new tire model, I don't know if the undercut is as great as it was before.
Yeah, but I mean, also though, what in theory, what doing the undercut to get because the new tire model takes longer to get your tires up to temperature, correct?
Yes.
So in theory, if you come in and you do the undercut, I would argue that it's even more of an advantage because then you just get more laps of the tires at temperature. Because if it takes 2 or 3 laps to get your tires up to temp, then in theory you would want to get on them as fast as possible so you can have as much time for the end of the race on warm tires. Because if you make the last stint 20 minutes and you have 5 of them is warming up the tires and you only got 15 minutes of green light, where if you make it 30 minutes and you have 25 minutes of green light.
It also depends on what pressures they have set for the stop. If they have a little bit more inflation or not. Track temp is down to 29 degrees C, so it hasn't dropped much. But we're about 1 lap away from the stops here.
Yeah, they won't get on this lap here. They'll have to get on the next one, because by the time they reach the pit lane, it'll be about 30 minutes and 31 seconds. Or, yeah, roughly.
The tail end of the field might be able to get in on their pit cycle from John on back, P5 on back. They might be able to get in on their stop this time around. Definitely for sure at Jake's spot he can get in this lap to get that pit stop early if that is what the tail end of the field wishes to do. 30.5 minutes remain. Once again, as Derek and Ethan just mentioned, the pit window is opening here in just 30 seconds time. All drivers must take a mandatory 4-tire pit stop. Fueling is optional. And then go back out on their way for the remainder of their race.
Yeah, speaking of fueling, you can, depending on how much you put in at the beginning, you can usually get away with fueling up the car and not having to take extra time because it is 30 seconds to do the tires alone. And it's a combined, you can fuel and tires at the same time as pit window has just opened.
Yeah, that is one thing about this game is you do not have the mandatory pit stop time. It's 60 seconds in the European Championship and a minute and a half in the British GT.
Isn't it? Yeah, because they're separate.
Jake Fauster's first one to box. Ramiro Perez follows him in that battle for 6th and 7th.
It's like Novak's going pitting as well. Looks like. Yeah. Same with Hurst.
Yep, so all 4 of those cars at the tail end of the field did exactly as I was expecting them to. Stop in really early, try to get on those tires as soon as possible, and maybe try to get just a little bit of an advantage over some of these other guys if they end up having to stay out for a while with maybe getting those tires up to temps on the undercut. Let's see what Woodrow does this time around. He's going one more lap, and with that, Gavin Moore elects to take his stop. I think if you're in Moore's situation, that's just whatever Woodrow does, you do the opposite. Just try to cover off and get as much of an advantage as you can there.
Solomon stays out for another lap. Mike as well. See as John makes his way through the final chicane. And he dives in.
So both Bentleys take the early pit stop here from Catalunya.
Ramiro and Jake are out with a much bigger gap than before, at least visibly. Could be wrong.
Yes,
Perez, Novak all out in the box.
They come out though. Just in front of Salman here is Jake Foucher's car, so Salman's going to get held up a little bit here, and that could help out Mike with that battle for the 3rd position once the pit cycles go all the way through. Could maybe help bump him up the standings just a little bit.
And Gavin is off and out on the track once again.
Woody has a huge gap of clean air.
Gavin's come out into clean air as well, so that's going to be efficient for him. He's going to hit that kind of ideal pit window. You get in clean, get out clean. Let's see. Woodrow decides to go one more lap here. Still going to push it on the current set of tires. Again, like he said, he probably went into that tire conservation mode and really just trying to save what he can for the end of it. Solomon coming around this time. Does he dive his way in? Yes, he does. What about Trey Wicke? He does as well. So that leaves Woodrow as the only car to not pit so far in this race.
Looks like at the beginning of the lap, Ramiro, there's about a 10-second gap between Ramiro and Jake, and it's now down to 6.4. Or maybe the timing was inaccurate when I read it, but gap is now 6.4 seconds.
What lap times is Gavin doing right now, Ethan?
Gavin?
He's currently still on his out lap. We'll have to see at the end of this one. He ran a 151 on his out lap. Coming through the final chicane here. He's got 2 more corners to go. and we'll be able to see what his lap time was that he ran. Woodrow up front ran a 1:45.2 last time around. So he's still hitting top pace laps. Here comes Moore through. He runs 250. So again, that's still on his out lap.
Yeah, the first lap was the in lap then, because the pit lane doesn't technically start until like just before the start-finish line.
Comes Woodrow here through the final chicane. Let's see if he dives in this time. Ooh, a little bit of loosey-goosey there through the chicane, and here he comes.
It looks like Mike has actually jumped Salman there entering the pits. Not sure how that happened.
Could have been damaged.
No, Salman got held up by the traffic there for a little bit, and then that could have possibly made it where you just had a longer pit stall, or possibly just not smooth entry.
Maybe so.
So here comes Gavin. Woodrow was 2 seconds slower on his in lap there than Moore was. Moore ran a one, I think it was a 151. I think is what I said it was for his in lap. Woodrow ran a 153 for his in lap. So Moore had a more efficient in lap.
Gavin's just at the Lucia hairpin. So he's into the third sector now.
Gonna be real close as the exit.
When he pitted, the gap was 1.5 seconds when Gavin pitted to Ryan.
Coming through the final chicane, the Woodrow Audi still not rolling.
He's off the jacks.
There he goes. The Audi's rolling down the straightaway as the Lamborghini's hitting it in stride.
Oh, it's gonna be close.
Down at the turn, it's gonna be close. I don't know if the Audi's gonna get there in time.
Last lap was a 45.2 by Moore.
And there's the gap. I would say it's negligible by the time that they both do their out laps. Because you gotta remember that Moore now has the warmer tires, so he has 1 or 2 laps now of a little bit more pace than Woodrow. Oh, as Moore goes way wide there at turn 3.
Yeah, he's been doing that the whole race.
He was a couple car lengths off of the racetrack at that point. There you go. 1.2 seconds the gap after the pit stop.
Have issues there.
Yeah, OBS just decided that it wanted to just close suddenly, so it should be back up now, hopefully.
Interesting. Yeah, I was watching. I was like, "Why is there an infinite loading screen?" And then, there they go. Is
down to 6/10.
As Novak into the pits. Not sure if they got damage from that spin they had at turn 12, but they are now in the pit lane once again.
Hopefully the stream is back up and still looking fine now.
Yep.
I'm not really sure what happened, but my OBS was like, we're just gonna close now.
You don't need me. Totally not streaming or anything.
Half of a second. You are right, man. Moore takes up all of turn 3. He uses all that pavement there, while Woodrow elects for the more tight and tidy line through there. Neither one of them seem any faster or slower, but I would probably think that Moore's line is going to be worse on the tire wear in terms of long run. So it definitely comes down there, I think, just to setups of the car. Whoever, it comes down to who has the car that can grip better.
Moore is closing up slowly. The gap was 6/10 there at sector 1. We'll see as we get down to sector 2 timing line. Down to 4/10.
So does Gavin go into tire conservation mode and then push the last 10 minutes or so?
If you can't get anything done right away here, then yeah, I think that's what you got to do. But for these couple of laps where your tires are better than Woodrow's because you're up to temps, I think you just got to try to push it and try to get what you can now. And then once you can't do that, then yeah, you just try to go into that tow conservation mode and push right at the end of the race. You just try to stay there with them. Last time around, it was the fastest lap of the race for Woodrow, 1:44.7, with a 1:45.0 from Moore.
They're going to start catching traffic here soon.
It is a fair point. Traffic is always at play, and first place always gets the traffic worse than second, because you always fight to not be put a lap down, but once you're a lap down, you just don't really care anymore.
Pit window is closing now.
But it is Keith Hurst they're catching up to, who's always relatively kind to the people who are lapping whenever the occasions do occur, and so.
Battle for the final podium spot is tightening up, down to 1.3 seconds.
Last time around, Salmon was 1/10 faster than Trey Wicke. Trey Wicke with the 1:45.66 and Sod with a 1:45.50. So a little bit faster there out of the Lamborghini in fourth place.
What the?
I would say Woodborough's tires are definitely up to temperature now as he's starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, any advantage that Moore had there during those couple laps is definitely gone now. And so Woodrow, he just got to put his head down, put in clean laps, and try to maintain that gap right about where it's at. Because if it gets any smaller, then Moore has a chance for, a dive at turn one or a dive at the hairpin on the infield of the track. But at this gap, it's just way too far to make any moves for Moore. Woodrow now taking that wide line.
So it looks like the number 63 is retired from this race. That's from what I've seen.
The Jaguar. Apparently just maybe some large damage or something of the sort from the spin, or maybe just an unhappy car that they just didn't want to drive anymore.
That's potential.
Gaps are about the same now. Solomon has a 1.3 second gap and Gavin has a 1.3 second gap.
Major moment there from Woodrow, who we're riding on board with up front. Caught the inside curve there at the hairpin and lost a couple tenths of a second there.
Oh, Gavin. Big slide in the chicane.
And Gavin's going to give that couple tenths right back to him with that slide.
Solomon will be pretty close to Trewicki here on the straight.
As Keith Hurst there on the front straightaway allowed to both Woodrow and Moore by. So I'm sure that Woodrow's very, very happy to see that, because that's going to help him maintain that gap up front.
Gap between Mike and Salmon is closed down to 8 tenths.
The Bentleys in 5th and 6th are just trying to have a clean, no incident race so far. It seems they're just chilling their way along to a couple of good finishing positions there in the midfield.
Cars are almost 2x2 everywhere. Got the 2 Astons and the 2 Bentleys. Almost the 2 Lamborghinis. Got a Porsche in between those.
Solomon really closing in on Mike.
Yeah, just a couple of car lengths now. At any time, if Trey Wicke makes just a small mistake, that's going to give Solomon the look that he needs to get right up on the inside.
A little slide by Gavin might have been the race for Brian. 2.7 now.
Yeah, I think Gavin's just got to go into a conservation mode with his tires after a slide like that. Gotta try to take care of it and just get it to the end and hope that you see Woodrow make a mistake. As speaking of mistakes, Mike caught the curb a little bit there and went wide at the hairpin.
Solomon's been running the sausage curb at New Holland the final corner the last few laps.
Which is very odd to see a Lamborghini doing. I'm not used to those cars being very good at the curbs, but...
There he goes again.
Trying to use up every little bit of the racetrack that's given to him.
Close enough now. You might have a look.
That time around 0.2 of a second between their lap times. Solomon is still closing in. Not quite close enough for a look there, but definitely in the tow. Again, any little mistake from Trey Wicke, that's going to give Solomon the look.
Gap now for the lead is extended to almost 4 seconds up front. So
Yep, Gavin's definitely conceded the win there.
Almost a look there from the 198 Lamborghini. It was just having a little bit of a nose up on the Porsche, but the Porsche was going defensive. A little bit of a lockup actually there from Solomon. That's gonna bridge the gap a little bit back out there for Trey Wicke. Car kind of bounced at the braking zone there in turn 5, I think that is.
Miro in the car number 97 with the drive-through for
Yep,
track limits.
I don't think you guys saw it, but I was looking at the track rank, but I just see his car taking the moto layout, well, the old moto layout, where he's instead of skipping the chicane, he just skipped the chicane, took it all the way around there. So.
Well, that is definitely a drive-through penalty-worthy corner cut, but if you're going to get one, you may as well go all the way. As Solomon with a big spin at the hairpin.
A little bit of a half spin there, but yeah.
Managed to recover it really, really well, but that's going to bridge that gap out to a couple seconds now, and it's going to put some flat spots possibly on his tires. It's going to really pull him out.
Left in the race, that might be it for podium for Mike.
Maybe.
It's 13 minutes remain here from Catalunya. Still a close race across the board, but that little mistake seems to possibly have sealed the podium if Trey Wicke runs himself a clean race to the end.
Is that the motor layout still? I thought it got changed for safety issues.
They need to bring it back, honestly.
It's a fun track. And just about really anything, I feel like.
Solomon has not given up. It's back down to 2.1, so he definitely still is pushing.
Yeah, I think that little half spin was just a minor setback for him. I think he still wanted to go for that podium position. Zermir now dives in for his drive-through.
He's going to lose that P7. .7 seconds now is the gap as he hits the timing beam for sector 2. That's 5/10 in one sector.
Astons might battle out of the pits. Nope, never mind. Ramiro gets past just as he exits the pit lane.
Oh, 30 seconds stop and go.
Speeding in the pit lane. Come up. He's definitely lost 7th place now.
Yep, that's gonna knock Ramiro Perez down to the tail end of the field for the running cars. A couple of crucial mistakes there is gonna knock him way down the points.
Gap now 1.7 from Solomon to Mike. Mike to Solomon, I guess.
Gap up front now up to 4.5 seconds. Woodrow just Trying to cruise along with this one with just 10 minutes remaining. So on board with Trey Wicke here in the Porsche.
Looks like he's having some rear stability going into braking zones. Back end sliding a little bit.
That could be good for Salmon there. Might like to see that. Another miss of the apex. You can see the light just starting to shine over the grandstands there as they exit the hairpin and go through the third sector. Possibly a little bit of blinding to the drivers there, just a little bit. Making them miss some apexes.
Salmon with a little bit of slide there going to 12.
Last time around, Salmon was 7/10 quicker than Trey Wicke. We'll see what they do this time around as in comes Ramiro Perez to serve his 30-second stop go. Ooh, Trey Wicke all the way to the gravel trap there. He elects to run a 146 dead, and Salmon runs a 146.4, so another big slide, as you mentioned, from Salmon. Going to help bridge that gap back out for Trey Wicke.
Ramiro essentially taking second stop. 30-second stop.
Salmon needs to put together some really clean laps here, especially if Trey Wicke is having issues under the heavy braking zones in that Porsche. Any sort of instability that car gets is going to be just tenths of a second at a time, but those tenths of a second at a time over the course of the next 9 minutes in this race could bring Salmon right back into it with just 1.8 seconds as the gap.
I just thought it was like a fun little mini-series. You just have like people drive around a track, but you know, pits are closed the whole time. Well, not the whole time, except for when you have to pit. And you just give someone, okay, you have to pit within this time. And you do it randomly, pick people randomly. Just see how that would work out.
So just have like a random number generator?
Essentially, yeah.
For who has to pit when?
Just pull names out of a hat.
Or who can go the longest on a tank of fuel?
Well, I bet the Bentley would win that automatically.
Well, you would stick everyone in the same car, everyone on the same track, everyone on the same setup, everything identical. It's just who can go the longest on a set of fuel. But also you'd have to set like a minimum lap time thing, like you can't go below a certain pace or something, or maybe maybe it's over distance rather than time. So who can go the most distance on fuel?
Now we're getting into Max Band's territory.
Yeah, I think we gave Southpaw Racer his next event.
His next one's amazing. They're doing Charlotte Roval in the C8, sorry. I almost said C7. Like, that's not it. No, it's the C8 GTE. And they're doing like a pacer test. You have to go between this lap time and this lap time. And if you stay within the lap time, you basically have to be the last one remaining. So
if you go too fast or too slow, then you get in trouble.
Exactly. Yep. And your car has to have, I think he said like basically some kind of yellow. Like it's mandatory to have yellow with white rims. Maybe not white rims. Like has
the car has to be yellow.
Yes, the car has to be some sort of yellow. The gap.
Oh, Mike goes wide.
It's the Salmon as well.
That's the Salmon too, trying to get every little bit of that racetrack there to try to run him down. Just 0.8 of a second now the gap. It was 1.4 at the start of Sector 2, so just 0.7 of a second there, murdered off through Sector 2.
Really bringing that gap down.
Salmon gets stuck on the sausage curve at New Holland, though.
I have done that at Sebring and iRacing. You know, I've just been driving a prototype around and I get it stuck on the curb and it just rides it all the way around the turn.
If he didn't get stuck on that during the lap, he would have passed Mike by now.
Yeah, so.
He lost a 10th there through Sector 3.
Yeah.
Gap up front just continues to grow up to 6 seconds now for Woodrow. 5.5 minutes remain.
I think had Gavin put the defense on, was able to defend just that one lap longer, I think we could have seen a different battle for the lead.
Battle for third is fantastic, though. You couldn't ask for much closer racing between these two. The Lamborghini appears to be just a little bit faster, but also appears to be making a couple mistakes every here and there that just prevent them from getting the spot done. 5 minutes to go. Just
and obviously
5/10 the gap
Solomon
now.
has the faster car, but Mike has done a very good job of just staying in that position.
I mean, last time around, the difference was 6/10 in the last lap time for Solomon. He ran a 1:46.1 with a out of Solomon, and then a 1:46.7 from the Porsche.
Solomon slowly bringing that gap down. Taking another
Oh,
pit
Trey Wicke goes wide at the hairpin. Unfortunately, though, there's really nothing that Solomon can do with that. Being close in Sector 3, you really can't make a pass here. It's more just get in line and follow. So, making a mistake there is not totally
there's
costly.
a twitch. There's a twitch in the braking.
He might have enough, be close enough down the front stretch to get enough toe.
Oh, he's going to have a look. Oh, but he goes wide.
Catches the gravel.
Still in the toe.
As you mentioned, he keeps on clipping that yellow sausage curb there, going through the final corner or going on the entry to the final corner, and that curb is kind of catching him out because it's not letting him turn fully into the corner. Because he's going over it on exit and then back over it again on entry. And so it's definitely, I think that's hurting him just a little bit whenever it comes to stability through the final corner to get the run down to turn 1. Because that Lamborghini's fast in a straight line. It's shown to be the fastest car in this championship in a straight line whenever it's dialed in correctly and gets a good run. But
see if he makes a lunge here in the Seat.
Stays behind.
Oh, Alexa stay in line. Could possibly maybe see a lunge at the hairpin. No, out into the sand trap once again. 3.5 minutes remaining. Ramiro Perez gets overlapped up front.
That sunlight looked really good. Coming through the tree there. They're close once again. Not sure how close. Mike taking a defensive line. The gap's down out to 0.2 seconds.
Going for the crossover again. Mike taking the really wide line. It puts the Lamborghini with a nose in there, but he elects to back out.
Yeah, they were side by side. Oh, as he misses his braking zone, goes wide.
Solomon loses a lot of lap time there and missing that braking zone.
Even though it's a tiny one, I mean, still, you miss it, you're going straight off.
He's got to hit it clean here. You cannot be going over this yellow curb. He does it again.
About 2-3 laps.
That one didn't hurt. That one didn't hurt him too much though. He managed to get over it smoothly and then come back. He didn't have to come back across it. That one didn't hurt him too much. And here you can see, I mean, there's the straight line speed of that Lamborghini. I mean, it just reeled up 2.5 tenths just on the front straightaway there.
Solomon's definitely faster in the first sector, though.
He has to get that run out of that final corner if he really wants to make the move.
That's where he's going to get it done. So I think if he gets the move down into turn 1 and then can defend in sector 1 where he's faster, then that will kind of help secure him the move. Because if he makes the move like down here, going to sector 2 or even into the hairpin of sector 3, then the Porsche has that chance to just make the immediate lunge back. 2 minutes remaining here from Catalunya. That's a good run there, not getting all the way out to the sand trap, just trying to keep it clean. Need to get the power down very smoothly in that Lamborghini here. Mike with a little bit of a wide line there, taking up all the green stuff.
It's a good defensive down to Lucia or not.
Leaders got down to 0.4 seconds.
The Lamborghini really gets through the hairpin well, but Trey Wicke's he's just good enough to just have enough of a gap there to make it where there's no challenge from the Lamborghini at any point here.
That's a good line. That's a great line by Mike.
We had the final lap here.
Solomon kept it tight there.
Yep, he didn't put himself up on that curb, maybe making an adjustment, noticing it. That's going to get him a good exit here on the final lap of the race here.
He's got to get done here. It's got to happen here. It's probably never going to happen. Really closing that gap up into one.
See, that Lamborghini is so fast in a straight line. He managed to get right up to the bumper of that Porsche. Gotta keep it in check here through Sector 1. Maybe we're gonna make a lunge down here to Turn 4.
Trying to go on the outside of Renault?
The Porsche elected for the early defense.
Oh, really trying it on the outside.
I mean, I think that was his move.
Oh, Mike taking a defensive line there.
Really good driving here by Mike to put himself in this defensive spot. Up front, coming through the final chicane, Woodrow looking to put away a really good drive here. A nice, almost you don't want to call it a recovery drive because he led for most of the race, but almost a recovery drive here, and he fell off the start.
It was a smart drive.
It was a very smart drive. Good recovery here, and coming into the hairpin. Any challenge from the Lamborghini? Let's see. On
Mike
exit,
takes the regular line.
Getting really close.
Not quite close enough. These cars are going to have to really fight it through. Keep it tight. Solomon, he got it. He might be able to make a little lunge right here.
Going to 13.
Nothing. Keep it tidy through the chicane here.
There, he might stick it in here.
Worth a shot at this point. You got to pull the trigger.
Oh, it hits the curb in Holland.
It's going to be a drag race.
Lamborghini's got the speed, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
No.
Porsche with the defense.
One more lap. One more lap is what he would have needed.
0.191 is the difference for the last spot on the podium. What a brilliant drive by Ryan Woodrow. Very, very, very smart to conserve his tires. First stint. And Mike's got to be sweating after that third place podium.
I know I would. After a good 50-minute race. Especially... Porsche's not an easy car. John was a little bit wider through final corner. Almost spins it across the line. Yeah. Great race on everyone's part there. Saved that replay. I think I got the replay saved. If not,
it's a great race from round 5 at Catalunya, especially there, that podium battle that was going on for the entirety of the race there. Very good drive by Solomon to try to put himself back in that spot to make that pass. But again, very efficient from Mike Trewicki, and as we pointed out, he made the pass in the pits, and that secured that third position for him. So that was definitely a good move and a good position from him. Get that done through the pit lane. Who quite knows what happened with Solomon there through the pit lane. Maybe he just had a bad entry, or whenever coming in the pit stop, maybe it gave him a bad animation into getting into the pit. So
not even hit the pit box right. I mean, that's the biggest thing is you got to get in the box for them to lift you up.
Yeah, possibly just missed it a little bit, and that could have cost him just those couple seconds, which is the difference between, as we saw there, a podium and being 0.2 of a second off the podium.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me in for this weekend. It's unfortunately some quote car issues on my viewpoint, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I know Saturday we have the GT4 series at, where is it hiding? There it is. GT4 series at Mazzano. And then next week, next Tuesday, these cars will be at Monza, I believe, for round 6. And then I know Friday as well, we have the DRST GRG 12-hour practice, stress test, if we want to call it that. So yeah.
Yeah, this Friday we'll be back here on Twitch and YouTube to be streaming as Ethan just said, essentially a test or a preseason race for our 12 Hours of Imola, which will be hosted on December 12th, also here on this Twitch channel, as well as on the DSRT official Twitch channel. That is DSRT_official. We'll be co-hosting that broadcast, and hopefully that'll be a fun one. And again, this Friday we'll be doing our preseason race for it, just to try to get everything in prep and make sure everyone's ready for it, and make sure our server's ready for it, make sure we're ready for it, and we're gonna try to have a fun day for that one. So be sure to show up then. And then again on Saturdays at 1600 UTC, we have our GT4 Championship, and then we'll be back again at the same time for the second to last round for the GT3 Legacy Championship. Of course, none of this would be possible without our supporters on Patreon and here on Twitch. You know, the money that supplies for us allows us to continue hosting these great servers and these streams and everything. So definitely without them, this wouldn't be possible at all. So enough thanks can't be said to everyone who supports us on Patreon and Twitch.
Yep.
Any last words there, Derek or Ethan?
I've got nothing now. It's actually just starting to look.
All right, well, thank you all for joining me in the booth. Everyone who tuned in on Twitch, and go hopefully see you all this Friday and Saturday for more great racing. Care for now.